Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Bill, you got to come in and hang with me for a couple of minutes. Oh, my God. Just,
long trip today?
Yeah, long trip today. And I hope Erin's with us in the chat tonight. That was a long trip. Erin Bush, my dear friend who helps me in so many ways, went up to Georgia with me on Monday, and we came back on Friday. And I don't know how much you can possibly cram into 1 week, but what we did make happen was an opportunity to meet her absolutely phenomenal parents. Cool. And I was so joyful to meet them. Now I know how she was created. Now I understand where she comes from. They're amazing people. And so I got to have a nice lunch with my sister, Christine. And there she is, present and accounted for. There's my sweetheart. And she drove the whole way. I don't know why I even have any right to be exhausted. She's the one that drove all the way down here from west of Atlanta to Winter Garden today, and then turned around after we unloaded the car and drove all the way back northeast to her home up in St. Augustine. So nice. The woman is boundless, endless energy. And I hope that her parents get to watch the show tonight, because Andrew and Kathy are two of the most extraordinary people I have ever had the privilege to meet. And I know that we are going to be friends for life. There's no question about it. So I was up there with my mother. I needed to spend some time. As you well know, you're with your mom a lot too. My mom needed to spend some time with me. And when I left this morning, I said, you keep it together, lady, because I'm coming back for Easter. So,
you know what? Maybe the Friday before Mother's Day, we get a few of these folks on, like Erin, maybe Lynn, even if just for a few moments, just to come on and celebrate Mother's Day and wish our moms happy Mother's Day. I think that would be pretty cool. What do you think?
I think that's a brilliant idea. We will absolutely do it. Absolutely do it.
You have a great guest tonight.
I do. Kristie London's a friend of mine. And she is one of those people, when you meet her, you know you've met somebody extraordinary. She has I don't know if you know, but I see auras. And her aura is the purest white light I've ever seen around a human being. You know, a lot of people, their auras, they change according to their moods, and they'll go from one color to the next, or sometimes they're very pale and sometimes they're very vibrant. She's radiant. There's something about her, and her aura does not pulse like I see so many, almost like it's got its own heartbeat or something. Hers is just almost like she's encased in white light. She is absolutely amazing. I've wanted her on the show for a long time, Bill. So this is our opportunity, my darling. So without further ado.
And that's her website, Annie.
It is.
Also, I believe when I read a little background on her, she actually seen colors when she was a young child. I think that's when she had gifts, so to speak. And she's been helping people throughout her life.
She's whole life.
Reiki master and medium. She does a lot of great work. So, yeah, let's bring her on. Have a great show to both of you. So let's get Kristie up. Have a great show to both of you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
Hello, lovely. I'm well. How are you? You made me cry.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
You're welcome. I meant it. You know me. I never say anything I don't mean. I never do.
I know. Yes. It is so nice to be here. I'm honored to be here with you.
Oh, it's our pleasure to welcome you to the show. And This is your show. My friend Erin, who I was just talking about, is also a Reiki practitioner. And I'm telling you, the woman keeps me upright. I'm telling you right now,
it's no joke.
Me upright. And when I first learned about Reiki, I thought, well, isn't that a great idea? If we can get to the point where we can manipulate energy to the extent that we can help others. And then I became the recipient of it and found out firsthand how very, very powerful it is.
Yes.
So I know that she'll be thrilled to listen to everything that you have to say. There she is.
Hi, Erin.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
She'll just pick your brain for the whole entire show. So why don't you, for those folks that don't know about you, and I bring on a very eclectic mix of interesting, fascinating people, and particularly women, because not enough women that work so hard in this field ever get acknowledged. So it's really important to me to put the white hot spotlight on some of the gifted souls that I've come to know and love, yourself among them. So the stage is yours. Just tell our viewers who you are, what you do, where you came from, including which planet.
Are you sure? Who knows? I think just the way my whole life's been, I hop, skip, and jump from whatever planet I feel like being on, and then it just goes from there.
Me too. Yeah. Because this one sucks a lot.
Oh yeah.
So get off it whenever you can. That's my attitude.
I know, but we got to find the beauty in all of it, though. We have to still focus on the positive.
Okay,
I know. We got to tell ourselves
away,
that.
And what do you? Oh my God! No, what we need to do is wipe out the dictators and the despots. That's what we need to do. Cleanse the planet of the the impurifications. We just have to. There's pestilence on the planet. They've got to go.
I can't argue with that.
Yep.
I can't. So
I love everyone, but I don't like everybody.
That's true. That's absolutely true. It is okay to respect people for who or what they are, but you don't have to like them or love them or want anything to do with them,
Yeah.
So, yes. So,
well, we'll just shoot it off with "Let there be a special hell for Putin to burn in." Okay. Now that I've said that, now we can get on with the show.
Okay. I knew I was going to laugh. I needed to laugh today. So, yes. What was the question again? Because you got me all flustered and distracted now.
I know. It's my fault. I know. No, I want you to show people who you are and talk about what you do, how you do it, how you got into it. And I know, knowing you, it's been a lifelong journey.
Yes.
But when your awareness surfaced that you were different, that you were much like me, a misfit on this planet, didn't understand what the hell we were doing here, but knew that it was important and that it was to help others. Mm-hmm. So in that way, we are truly kindred spirits.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. My whole life, since I was a little kid, I've known I was different. And, if something was good for the group, it never worked out or was good for me kind of idea, even down to the dumbest, simplest things that really don't matter, but it just always seemed to be that way. I had friends, but I was also picked on, and I never seemed to have a group. I could get along with anybody. But there was a lot of my life where I was reclusive and withdrawn in certain situations. I know there were people in my life, including my mother, who would probably say, "Oh no, you were never," because it was hard. I needed to just be myself. I couldn't help but just be myself. But when you're around other kids and friends and things, it's a lot different. But I can remember back as early as 3 years old, in the first house that we lived in. And I remember climbing in my sister's crib and staring into different areas of the bedroom. There was no window. It was a very small house, and there was no window in this particular bedroom. So it literally was just this small little hot box of a room. And I remember just being able to stare. And there was something there, like the air just looked different, but there was the only thing was a light on the ceiling. There was no light coming in from a window. There was no sunlight, no glare, nothing. So that's really, it in and of itself was something that is still with me today, being able to physically see, the air change in a room and have certain spots look different than others. And I always thought that was normal. So I guess from even way back then, I knew that I was different. But throughout my life, I always wanted to help people and be helpful. And sometimes that was taken the wrong way. Sometimes people thought I was being pushy, and I really just wanted to help or just wanted to be a part of things just because I wanted to be included or learn or, make things easier for people. Other people thought that was, I remember one, she was my cheerleading coach actually in high school, but she actually was a religion teacher, and I was like mentoring with her, like her teacher aide, before I was old enough to have my own class and volunteer to teach my own class. And I remember hearing her say one time to somebody else real sarcastically, "Oh, yep, that's Kristie, always willing to help." And I was like, wow. And I was like 15 back then and thought, wow, okay. But that was actually true for her personality, unfortunately. But, little things like that make you, when you already feel weird and different and like you can't do anything right, that just makes it worse. But I kept going because then I ended up just, I taught probably from the age of 16, even in my church. I volunteered, and then I was an assistant DRE into my early 20s. And I volunteered at my church. So DRE is Director of Religious Ed, for anyone who doesn't know who that is. And, so I helped run the program, the classes in the mornings, on the weekends, with that, all the special functions. So, and I loved it. I loved myself doing those things and who I was more doing those things than I did actually attending Mass, because Mass was never something that spoke to me. I did like the tradition to a certain point. I am a creature of habit. So I did like the security of knowing what to expect, because again, anything that was out of the ordinary, or if they changed a prayer or the way we said it, I was like, ooh. And even though 8 other people around me were messing it up because nobody knew it got changed, I crawled back into my space going, ooh, I messed that up. Like, again, I messed something up. So I really liked being able to just do my thing and be there for the kids and really just envelop myself in the whole idea of integrating my beliefs with life, real life. So, I've always wanted to help people, and I've just always wanted, I always knew, even as a teenager, I got to a point where I realized that was my purpose. It was just finding how I was supposed to do it. And so I ended up working in customer service for a long time because I was a young mom. So I didn't go to school. I went to school. It wasn't for me at the time. So having my kids real early, my older two, I worked customer service jobs. It's what I was good at. I always had, especially in high school too, my friends would tease me, oh, you've got this one coming to your line again, as a cashier, and you got that one coming to your line. But it truly did not bother me the way it bothered them. Even on a bad day, it was more of just an annoyance, where to them it was like they were just totally nasty. So they stayed. They didn't want them to come into their line. But I just always had a way of handling. I've actually been told on more than one occasion as well that I was too happy and I needed to tone it down because it was annoying to other people. And that was, isn't that awful? Especially for a teenager trying to find, and I'm like, now my higher adult self would have a few choice words for those people. But
those people really need to be very happy that they've never met me. Because if I had heard something like that, I would have gone off on them. When the way that I feel about it, Kristie, is when you try to do something for someone else and they reject that offer of kindness, not only are they robbing themselves of the opportunity to make that profound connection, they're absolutely robbing the giver of the opportunity to do something good in the
Yes.
world.
I agree.
I don't understand that mindset. It's lower vibration, 3D fear-based. It's
Miserable.
3D fear-based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can label it that, but I will never understand it.
I know.
I never will. And I understand what you're saying too, because I've been called too nice. Like, what the hell is too nice? what is that?
Right.
I've been
Yeah.
told that right from people inside the field that I'm too complimentary of others. Oh, let that be my worst sin, that I pick out the best things that I
God
can,
forbid.
determine that I feel from, connecting with other people, and then bring it, acknowledge it.
Yeah.
If that's my worst sin, color me guilty.
Right. I agree. And I've had people say, oh, don't work with this person, or, oh, you don't want to work with that person, or watch this person because they do whatever. Yet the person that was saying that to me is very highly regarded as one of the nicest people in the field. And I just thought to myself, I'm not naive. And I just love to sit back and listen and let people tell me things. I don't use it against other people, and I don't use it against them. I just take it all in because I just sit and observe, and I have never been one to be a part of a group. Like I said, especially like in high school, I did have, 3 or 4 close friends, but it was never a group. I could go sit at any lunch table, and talk to anybody in a class and get along with them just fine, and they could with me. And that was a nice part. It could be lonely at times, but looking back as an adult, I also didn't deal with drama, and I didn't put up with drama. So I was grateful for that. So I don't know. I'm grateful that I can just float around and just take everything in and be who I am. I work with who I want, when I want, where I want. And if someone doesn't like it, that's too bad, because I don't work for you. I work for God. That's
right.
Basically, I work for myself. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do what needs to be done with a purpose. And that's it. So you can let me know anything you want. But until I have a problem with somebody or don't think they are worth my time or okay, appropriate to work with, I do what I want. I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't always tell people I listen to my guides more than, my mom only wishes I listen to her as much as I listen to my spirit guides. Because, I would kill kill for my kids to listen to me that way, So, but it is what it is.
Well, I completely, I think that's why we click, because there are aspects of us that are similar in that respect. And this is a hard world to get around in. It really is. And just when you think that you've got something figured out, it'll hit you upside the head with a baseball bat. And it can be so painful and so hurtful. And I will never ever understand how anyone could be deliberately hurtful. Why they feel like they don't feel tall unless they're standing on your broken body.
Small miserable people.
It is lower vibration. And one of the things that we do here with the World Awakening is try to lift people up. I mean, even when I'm in total meltdown and I'm really raging and I'm so angry about the condition of the world, and this is happening and that is happening, and I'm so pissed about this, and I'm just so wild about that. It's done.
You? No.
Me. Yes, I know.
No.
But it's done with love, damn it.
I get it. I get it. Preach it to the choir, sister. Never mind the heart attack we give ourselves. It doesn't matter.
I know. Well, I have to burn it as jet fuel. I do. I have to burn it. It's not going to go away unless I spell it as jet fuel. Yeah. So that's what we do. Poor Erin. Oh my God. The whole way back down to Florida today, I was just chewing her ear off about subjects just like this. Yeah, it's amazing. But I watch her because I spend like time in her physical space, so
Right,
I
right.
watch what she does, and I'm fascinated by it because um, I have a Reiki master friend of mine who is like all of 4'8" that lives
Wow.
out in LA.
I thought I was
And
short.
when she gives me energy, I won't even call it a treatment, it's just energy. She
Mm-hmm.
puts her hands near me, but not on me.
Mm-hmm.
Near me, but not on me. And
Mm-hmm.
I start to feel the sparkles, and I start to feel the shift occur
Right.
when she does it. And she's really well known in the LA area,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't really travel beyond that sphere.
Okay.
Not that there's not plenty of people out there that need some help, so that's fine. I don't think she's going to have a shortage of
Yeah.
clients. But Erin does it a little different way. And hers is almost like vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it about Reiki that I know it's the channeling of energy. I know it's the pulling together and then channeling of a higher frequency, a higher vibration, a certain kind of energy. But what is it that's different from Reiki master to Reiki master to what is it? Is it something that you choose to, is it something that when you feel that you have this ability, but do
Mm-hmm.
you choose how to use it? Like, is there a specific methodology? Why is it different from one Reiki goddess to the next to the next? All women that I know that do this. I don't know any men that do Reiki.
Really? See, I
No,
do. I
any.
do. Yeah. Nope, I do. And actually, my partner Mike is also a Reiki master. You know,
Oh,
Mike.
very cool.
Mm-hmm. He is
Oh, good.
also.
I'm so glad I
Yeah.
let him hug me then.
That's right. See?
And we got good pictures. We
That's
got good
right.
pictures
We
the last
did.
time. Yeah.
Yes. I think it's funny. I just had this conversation with somebody a few days ago. I feel like, healing is healing. Positive energy is positive energy. It doesn't matter what modem, and I apologize because I have these little flyaways that I keep having to like brush away.
Oh, okay. I'm a mess. I'm a mess.
You look gorgeous, please.
Oh.
But I mean, really, if you think about it, it's all behind the intention, right? So it really does not matter at the end of the day what modem you choose to practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or become attuned in or certified in or whatever the case is. It really just comes down to, because I had a cousin who was dying of breast cancer. So before I even took the Reiki classes to be a practitioner, I knew that I was a healer, right? And I had always kind of known that my whole life. I just hadn't done anything official about it yet.
Yeah.
But when she needed me before she passed, my spirit guides were in my head hardcore and told me step by step, play by play, what I needed to do, how I needed to get in there so that I didn't upset my aunt and uncle. Not like I did anything wrong, but like my other cousin, her sister helped me, and she kind of explained to them like, so how to make them comfortable with letting me go and do this for her. And, I didn't have any formal training. I had my religion, I had my beliefs, I had my spirituality, I had me and just the guidance that I was being given. So, a lot of times I end up, because of my background, explaining or using the example that, Reiki is much like a healing mass. You're laying hands on somebody, but a lot of us don't even have to touch, but the idea is to give the positive energy and be the conduit, right? So, really when you are, when you're turning the Reiki on to work, you're just the conduit. You are connecting with the universe. It's positive, universal life force energy is what it is. So you literally just turn it on and allow it to flow through you.
Yeah.
It's not like I always tell people, I'm not John Coffey from the Green Mile. I'm not taking in this stuff that I'm going to have to expel later. It doesn't work that way. But there are other ways of healing that are divinely led, that I do, and a lot of other people do it as well, in their own ways. So I do tend to pull sick energy, negative energy, unhealthy energy, whatever it is, from people as well. That is not a part of Reiki. Reiki is simply connecting with the universe, allowing it to flow through you, giving it to the person or the object or whatever you're using the healing on, and that's it. The pulling is I'm guided by guides to do that as well. And actually, I'm finding out that it's more of a shamanic practice. And it's funny because I have actually been led in that direction. I know that's going to be the next big thing for me. I think I'm going to be doing that at some point in the future. So when I learned that not too long ago, just like a week or so ago, I was like, boy, the signs are just like right in my face right now. Everything I've been doing
flashing
naturally.
Neon. Yes. Because if there was ever a time that the world needed healing, it's now.
Yeah.
It is.
So,
now.
I mean, as far as, there's no difference. And really, to be a Reiki master, all that means is that you can teach it. You can attune other people to become practitioners, and with each of the levels. That's all that means. If you are a level 1 and 2, if you've completed that, you're a practitioner. A Reiki practitioner is a Reiki practitioner. So that's really, that's what matters the most,
Okay. Now let me ask you a pragmatic question.
It's a big word for a Friday night.
I know. Oh, no, I got bigger ones than that. I do. I'll pull them out. I got a box of them over here.
Excellent.
How does what you do spiritually jive with your religious beliefs?
So I decided a long time ago that, I didn't even decide. It just kind of naturally happened. It was always just happening for me. Kind of like I explained earlier, when, I grew up going to church. I grew up with Mass. I grew up in a very Catholic family. But I always just made it my own naturally and took from it what I could take from it. So as I got older and I started to immerse myself in the other aspect, like the teaching and, working with the kids and the teenagers and the other adults and the other ways of doing things, I found that was more my speed. And then the Mass part of it was kind of like the caveat and the accent that I needed, the filler. So it did take me a little while, just because it's been my whole life, to be comfortable with certain things that I believe, like reincarnation, which is a huge one, especially for Catholicism. But it really doesn't affect it, because at the end of the day, what I have come to understand is that it's each his own with this. As human beings, we need a foundation. And so we have all these man-made religions, right? And we have all these things and all these people who have put these things together, much with the best of intentions, I believe, right? But at certain points, just like everything else, it got bastardized somewhere along the way in some respect. And so we have to do what's best for us and take what's best for us and leave the rest from it. So it does not conflict anymore. And the more I do this work, my only justification for myself and anyone who's ever, and I've been very lucky, I've not really ever come across this or had to deal with this, but for the few times that I've had anyone question me or accuse me of being evil or not Christian-like, my only answer is God made me and God doesn't make mistakes. So if I am living this truth and I am truly following my heart and my soul and the guidance where, I'm taking the guidance and taking their lead, following their lead, I should say, there's no conflict. It is what it is. There's got to be something flawed with the man-made stuff. And that's not a bad thing, because there's still certain things that I value and respect about my religion. It's just, that's all I'm going to say about that. I could go on for an hour just about that. But so there's really no conflict. It's not. And I think any religion that doesn't promote anybody living in a positive way, no matter what it is, isn't worthy. And I would hope that, Christianity and, people in the Catholic religion would agree with that. I,
Yeah, I got thrown out of the Catholic Church. Not for nothing, but I was 15 and I got tossed out, and my parents got a letter from Bishop Gelano saying that I wasn't right for the church, that I asked too many questions. And I was like, really,
yeah.
I'll go take a walk in the woods and I'll tell you some stuff about God when I come back out. How's that?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I had a priest.
Yeah.
I had a priest one time tell me he didn't like my choice of I was going to baptize we didn't baptize my children right away, my older two right away, because their father was Episcopalian. And so we just had a disagreement with which to do it. So we just raised them Christian. So when they were little, like 4 and 5, I baptized them Catholic, and I wanted someone who was Mormon to be the godfather, one of the best people to walk the face of this earth, the family, everything, most giving, loving people ever. And I was told by the priest that he was extremely disappointed in me and that he couldn't believe I would ever choose to do something like that. Now I'm thinking to myself, I don't agree necessarily with that either, but I know that this person is absolutely better than most Catholics I know at this point. And for you to just chastise me rather than educate me, which is what you should be doing in the first place.
Yeah.
Guess what, buddy? You're right. I don't want them baptized in your church. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now I don't feel bad. And I ended up taking them to another church and doing it just because I wanted them to have some foundation, I was appalled and I couldn't believe that he actually, and then turns out that, a lot of other family members had run-ins with him too. And I didn't realize that at the time. And so, a lot of people left because of how he started to become the older he got. So we were like,
okay. Yeah. Yep. Bye-bye.
But then again, I had a bunch of very, very good priests and very open-minded priests who realized there was really more to it.
Yeah.
And who were not that rigid. And I know it's a generational thing too. You can't come down on people for the world they grew up in and what they were taught. You have to remember, if it's all they knew, it's all they knew. It's whether or not they're going to be willing to be open-minded, right? And see that there's more at a certain point. But
I don't see that there's an essential conflict between what you do and the fundamental precepts of any religion. Mm-hmm. I don't. But then again, I've got my little pentagram earrings on tonight, and witchcraft is frowned upon in most churches. But witchcraft really is. It's so funny. I was talking yesterday with Erin's parents about this. Witchcraft is the manipulation of energy. Mm-hmm. That's all that it is. Mm-hmm. It's, focusing your thoughts and with an intention, manipulating energy, channeling energy, mm-hmm. or being a conduit for energy. Right. That's why it was interesting when you said about, I do both. I do, and I don't call myself anything. I'm a little bit of everything, but I can heal, but hands-on, I can heal. Mm-hmm. But I can also, I'm going to use Erin's favorite phrase right now from Ghosts, the show Ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to suck off the negative energy that's coming through.
I like her.
I'm just going to suck it off of you and take it away and not hold on to it and just let it go and go, pollute the atmosphere, whatever. And
oh goodness.
It's my new favorite phrase. It is.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to steal that.
Okay, I'll share it with you. Yeah, it's no charge even.
That's awesome.
And that's what's great about pilfering something from somebody else and then giving it to the next person.
And I've actually watched that show, and I've caught a couple episodes of that show, and I really like it. So I really have to start watching that.
It is. Go back all the way to the beginning.
Okay.
And it is. You will find that it is the paranormal's answer to. It's Will and Grace of the paranormal. Okay. I'm telling you.
All right. Okay.
Hysterical. And
love
so, I
it.
mean, whoever's writing it, they're doing their homework, you know, because based on my experience with Spirit, there's an awful lot of things that happened in that show that are actually plausible and in fact happened. They
I
happened.
just had that conversation with somebody today. I had a meeting and we were talking about exactly that, how TV and movies, they are not too far off. Some of them, they've done their homework, like truly, not just off the wall paranormal, what you hope to see when something's going on, like truly how things will go. Because even when I teach, or even when I'm just talking to a client, if I have to reference something, there are some movies and TV shows that I reference to give them an idea of what I'm talking about, with how things actually work. And so it's really, I totally agree with you on that. There are some that are really spot on, you know, or spot on as it can be for, you know, something like this. So I think that's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it also brings the concept into a genre that people are very familiar with. So it kind of opens the doors a little bit more easily. But
absolutely.
No, I have that ability though, and I don't know what it's called.
You're a
to
healer.
Remove people's pain. Just take it.
Healer. You're an empath, right? And then you're a healer. You can remove, you can give. That's what we do. Why can't it be a healing just because you don't necessarily give it the way some of us do? Taking away is also so you're a healer in my book. Like, that's hands down. I mean, and, you know, speaking of the witchcraft and going back to, you know, the different practices that are out there, you know, a lot of it is, and for myself included for a long time, you know, there are certain things, again, that are bastardized. Witchcraft, you know, demonology. And it's like, they're scary because we only know the one side. We don't know the other. But when you actually look at the true foundation of all of these different ways of doing things, it really all comes down to pretty much the same thing, which is nature, positive energy, doing for others and ourselves. Like it's all the same. I mean, it all goes back to the same thing, and it's just doing it in different ways depending on culture or religion or where you come from. Because of where you live, you do it a certain way, whatever the case is. You know, it all is still one. It's all one big nucleus, I think.
It is. It really is. And, you know, I've always said that growing up in the environment that I did at the farmhouse shaped me in some fundamental ways. I felt compelled to study philosophy when I went to college. And I think it was because I needed to understand the truth about what is and is not metaphysical. I learned by studying philosophy that in order to get my degree in philosophy, I had to study every single major world religion. They're integrally connected, correlation and integration. And which seemed absurd to me because I just thought, you know, philosophy is not religion. Philosophy is something bigger than religion, a different, you know, a way to look at the universe, a way to explore, you know, all facets of human behavior and to hone concepts that serve humankind. But I was wrong about that. They are absolutely correlated. And the one thing that I learned by studying all the major world religions is that they all have one basic tenet in common. And some people call it the golden rule. The way I put it is, do unto others as though you are the others. Now, and if we could all live that way all the time, like Dickens said, keep Christmas in your heart year round. You know, if we could all be as kind and loving and generous to each other as we are during, you know, the high holy season, then what a world we
Oh,
would
yeah.
live in.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of what your religious affiliation is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. In the Jewish religion, it's not even incumbent upon you to believe in God. You don't have to believe in God to be Jewish.
No.
You just have to follow the rules of being a good human being. That's it. And, so the more I learned, and this is the way of the world, the more I learned, the less I understood. And
isn't that funny?
I know. It took me decades. It took
and
me decades to realize.
I find too,
why
the more
scared.
that I start to learn, though, don't you think, it raises sometimes more questions than you get answers?
Yes.
Because we're never supposed to be. It's just like our gifts. We get to a certain point, and then our guides are like, okay, chop, chop, let's go. We're switching things up on you. We can't have you being too complacent. You have work to do. I mean, it's kind of like being in the military in a way, we get to live and do what we want and need and use our gifts the way we're supposed to, and also make choices. But at the same time, we have a responsibility. So if they say jump, we have to say how high.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here for, and that kind of sounds harsh, but it's, when you have a job to do, then they let you know that you have to be ready to stand up and do that. So sometimes, evolving and progressing and growing can be tricky, because I think it's, we never stop learning and growing. And anyone who tells you that you do, run in the other direction. This is never ending for all of us,
Yeah. Yeah. And anybody that claims to be an expert in this field, please avail yourself to the nearest high-speed highway to get away from them, because they'll take you down a very deep, dark rabbit hole. There are no experts in this field. We are all just doing the best we can. We're all little children lost in the dark, trying to find our way home. And, it's those that walk around and pretend to know it all and to be a living, breathing guide on the planet to others, who are generally the founders of cults. And I don't think that services anyone. Individually, each one of us has to dig deep and find our own path. And I don't know why you knew so young. And I wandered around feeling very much like a misfit and trying to be a round peg in a square hole. It didn't work for me. I just had to, but when you've wasted decades of your life playing fake it till you make it, because you're afraid that people will reject you because you're so different than everyone else that you're observing. As my darling John Tenney likes to say, we're the weirdos. We are the weirdos.
He's a nice guy. Yeah, he was nice to meet in Michigan too. Yeah. Well, you know what though? And I mean, in all honesty, I kind of wandered aimlessly myself for a lot of years.
Oh, good.
No. Yeah. Just because I knew and certain things happened, didn't mean I had any understanding of it. I had no support and no help with this. I could tell my mother things were happening, that I would see colors. I would see splotches. The air in the rooms would change, but mostly I was telling her about the colors I would see because it was dark and it was always when I was in bed. But I didn't have anything to make that connection in my mind with what I was feeling versus what my eyes were seeing. There was no connection. There was always like a misfire. So I never had any resolution to that. And, middle school years were the shittiest years of my life because they were the hardest anyways I think for most kids growing up.
Yes.
But let me tell you, it was between home life and not fitting in at all and being, for whatever reason, those were the years the kids picked on me the most for some reason. And then on top of it, everything else that I was going through in my own head, either thinking it was normal and not realizing it wasn't. So just the way I would think or process things would be different versus the way I saw the world and acted at home and in school and around other people. It was crazy. I did not. I had to learn to adapt and adjust as I got older. And it wasn't until the early 90s when I was in high school that I actually started to grasp onto any kind of concept about what was going on, because Montel Williams was on then. Remember the Montel Williams show?
I do.
He had Sylvia Brown on there. And why the first time I saw her on there, I couldn't get away from the TV screen. And I just remember feeling a huge connection to her. But even back then, I still wasn't able to consciously do what I do now, like do those things. But if you ask my friend Janine, who we've been friends since we were 5 years old, she will tell you I've read her our whole lives. And we're 44 now. Yes, I said it out loud, Janine, we're 44. We just had birthdays. So, but I mean, 40 years of friendship. Thank you. 40 years of friendship. And she's like, yeah, you've been reading us. You've been reading me our entire lives. What are you talking about? And I was like, okay, that made sense to me, because it wasn't in your typical way that other people would talk. So terminology has a big impact on this whole thing too, right? Don't you think? Because I would hear things like downloads and star children and, just other, and I'm like, what is that? What is that? But then I start hearing all the definitions to this formal terminology. I'm like, okay, but I've always done that. But not everybody does. But I'm just coming into the realization that that's what it is, and really realizing what is going on. So no, you're not alone. Trust me, because it wasn't until in my early 20s when I was raising my older two, in my mid 20s, that I was going by, I knew by then I was seeing things and experiencing things, and I was putting two to two together because obviously I was old enough to know paranormal and ghosts and things like that. I just didn't conscientiously, purposely do anything with it. I just went with the flow, but I still was doing it and just didn't realize it. But to have any kind of real grasp on it didn't happen until my 30s. And so it still made me stand out. But by then I had learned to not care what other people thought, and to I let go and release myself and just realized, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I got to do it. And so it was very liberating finally. And then to find out that, especially with raising my older two kids, the things I did to help them instinctively, following my gut, the guidance of my spirit guides, is what I was taught to do formally, which is what I teach, other people to do. So yeah, you're not alone. Trust me. This has been a very long few decades for me too.
Did your children inherit some of your abilities?
Oh yes. Oh Good. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. They're all very, our friend Tim Shaw gave my youngest Brianna a message. We went to one of his gallery readings that he had last month or so ago. And he looked at her and said, you got to start acknowledging your gifts, right? And she was like, oh, man, because her mom's been telling her that, right? And she just, he was like, yeah, you gotta start doing it.
So if you hang out with Tim Shaw, you're gonna get a reputation, and I know that because I've already got the reputation.
Love him.
Reverend Tim, you gotta watch out for him.
He's a great guy.
He'll call it for what it is every single time.
Yes,
there is no escape.
My goodness, absolutely. So but no, you're not alone. No, I think we've all gone through that, and I had one, besides being able to tell my mom, and she was as supportive as could be without knowing how to help me. She would believe me, which that's the most important thing. And
it is the most important aspect. It is.
Yeah. Yep. And, we didn't have a great relationship when I was younger, and, she would think I was being dramatic with my personality. I think was sometimes more than she could handle. And, but to know that I can appreciate so much more even now, looking back and saying, well, I could tell her that, and she didn't make me feel like I was being dramatic. She believed me. She just didn't know how to help me. But my grandmother, my father's mother, was the one that I would call and talk about a devout Catholic. Oh my gosh. But boy, I swear to this day, she had gifts, and she just either didn't know how to acknowledge them or was afraid because of the generational issues that she had with religion. but I could call her and she could be in bed and my grandfather would get her up and she would sit on the phone with me. Like if I was paralyzed because I was doing my homework in the bedroom or in the living room and nobody else was home and it was 9:00 at night and all of a sudden there's something in the room with me. And it was one of those back in the day when you had the cordless phone, but it wasn't with me. Surprisingly enough, even though I was a teenager. So I would like do one of those run sprint things to grab it and then leap back onto the couch so that I could be back. And I would just call her and she would just sit on the phone with me and I would tell her what was going on. I would tell her, I'm just afraid. I don't know what's going on. I'm just afraid. And she would just talk to me. And she died when I was a senior in high school. And that was the toughest thing I ever went through until my dad died, because she was my only like lifeline when things happened and I couldn't handle it or didn't know what to do. And I remember not long after she passed, for some reason I didn't go to the hockey game. My mom and my dad and my sister went to the hockey game and the Sabres. And so they were gone and I was home and it was kind of late at night and it was like 10:00 and I remember doing homework or doing something on the couch and all of a sudden something was in the room with me. And I just froze and I just got this fear. And then I went to call her and then I was like, I can't call her. And I just remember saying, Grandma, I really wish you were here. I really need you right now. And I just felt from behind, I just felt this hug. And my grandma was little. She only came up to like my collarbone. She was short. And I just she was a little lady, but those arms came right around from behind me. And it did not go away until they got home, which was probably almost an hour later. It was the most amazing thing. So yeah, that was, yeah. Yeah. So that was really important to me. And
that's so sweet. Well, I was going to say, she's never left you and she's probably functioning as a guide in your life now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I truly believe she's very ascended. I have never, it's funny because people are always saying to me, oh, you're so lucky. You've got to be able to communicate with past loved ones. Well, number one, she was the first close family member I ever lost. And that was 1996. I didn't lose any. I mean, I just only lost in this last year, both my grandfathers and my dad in this last year. I still have a grandmother. I mean, I lost great grandparents and great aunts and uncles, but you expect that. It's not that it doesn't hurt, but it's, you know what I mean? Like They were first generation. I mean, but that's how big my family is as well. So we were very blessed, but then I didn't lose anybody else that was really, besides my mother-in-law as well. But in my family, she was it, so I didn't have a lot of family on the other side to begin with, but my grandma especially, she came to me one other time when I was pregnant with my son. He's my oldest. And I, anyone who's had kids knows that by 6 months, you're not sleeping well, you're not comfortable the whole bit. So I remember I was laying on my left side and I was facing the door and my husband at the time was facing the wall. So we were back to back and my bedroom door was open and our dog was under our bed and it was around 4:00 in the morning. And I remember hearing him whine. You just kind of wake up, you hear the noise and you kind of know what's going on. And I've really never, I've only shared this with a few people. I can't even believe I'm sharing this with the whole world right now. But I just remember I opened my eyes and just laying like this on my side and it was not in the form of a person, so to speak, but it was her height. It was this misty, only like this thick. It went from floor up and it was just kind of a human shape, but not totally. Just misty white, cloudy stuff, right? And I'm looking at it and in the middle, I swear to God, and no, I was not sleeping because like I said, I was pregnant. When you wake up, you wake up. I was awake, but I was in a very peaceful, calm state because all I did was open my eyes and in the middle of this thing floating in midair was a long stem red rose. I could see the thorns on it. And I remember thinking to myself, I could reach out and touch this right now, but I didn't want to move because I didn't want it to go away because I knew it was my grandmother. And I just sat there a good 10, 15 seconds and I looked at it. I blinked and it was still there. And then I blinked a few seconds later and it was gone. And I just couldn't even, it was just amazing. But that was really the only, besides a couple of little things, my grandmother, for some reason, I don't communicate with her the way, even my dad just passed a little over a year ago. He's in my ear. I know it's him. I hear him. He interacts with me. He's very active, which I'm very grateful for because we were very close. My other grandpas, I was very close to them, but they were older, so more peaceful with their passings. But they don't come to me exactly in the ways others do. But my grandmother I don't know. I feel like she's more ascended, to be very honest with you. Like, I feel like she has other more important work to do. Like, we're good. She'll check in on us, so that's those are two very special happenings for me, very special experiences for me. So, yeah.
Are you able to distinguish and delineate among your experiences as to what you think is spiritual guides, light beings, extraterrestrials? What do you feel is attempting to contact you, work with you, and help guide you on your personal mission? Or does it even matter? Does it even matter?
If I'm being very honest, I would have to say that due to my lack of knowledge, just like I mentioned earlier, of light beings and extraterrestrial beings, it's a little scary for me. I'm not going to lie. But that's because I've never worked with it before or really been educated on it before. Up to now, I work with spirit guides of the divine, from a spiritual religious standpoint. So God is my higher power. And then I have spirit guides and angels that I work with, and then spirit people who have passed away that work with me and help me as well. But it's, again, as we grow and we progress, we evolve and we ascend. So we get to these different levels, and it all changes, right? I have had people mentor with me who have had experiences with extraterrestrial or light beings. Because am I saying that correctly? Light beings are also associated with.
Yes.
Actually, okay. I just wanted to make sure I was accurate with that. So here's the funny thing. In one of my meditations just within the last couple of days, I was actually told light beings. I wish I had the paper still sitting here. I think it's on my desk now. But I was like, okay. Because I know I'm going through a major shift right now.
You are.
And it is unnerving. So anybody, whoever, people come in all the time and they want to work with me, and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, so I know I need to get a grip on this. I could never do what you do, but I just need to learn what I'm supposed to do. And I look at them and go, what do you think I can do that you can't do? They're like, well, you can do this. And I'm like, don't do this. Don't put me here and put yourself here. Because my job is to get you may, okay. So if we have to put it in some way, yes, right now I'm going to be here and you're here. But you know what? At one point, my mentor was here and I was here. And the whole idea is that we get each other
equilibrium, balance.
You got it. All we're here to do is help you figure out what you need to figure out so you can come and play ball with the rest of us on this level. And it's not that it's better. It's just that you haven't gotten there yet. You have to just learn. And so I just, I feel like that's what's going on. It's ever changing. And at this point, I feel like there's just a major shift. And I have a feeling there are going to be some new things happening for me coming up here. So I would say that as of right now, I've not worked with anything else that I am aware of, except for my spirit guides and the divine and spirit themselves. But I do know people who have and do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, as you well know, I'm very happy to personally introduce you. And the next question is, what if angels are extraterrestrials? No, that's my experience, is that there is an angelic realm, and it's a race of extraterrestrials.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And, I have no proof of that. I have no empirical evidence to present to the world. That is what I've been told. That's part of the messaging that comes through to me, and the downloads, and, they come, and honest to God, Kristie, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. You just go ahead and tell me what you need to tell me, and I'll take it in, and I'll shut my eyes, and I know it's all going back into some part of my subconscious. And then all of a sudden I'll be in the middle of a show or a lecture, or, filming something for TV, and plop, there it is. It just pops out. I never thought about it consciously before I said it. It was
Just there it
time
is.
for that revelation to surface in that venue, in that place, for somebody specifically to hear it.
Yes.
And when I got comfortable in my skin, and by telling you this will make my sister Cindy cringe. She will cringe. She's like, do you have to talk about your little friends? I'm like, first of all, they're not that little. Second of all, yes.
That was the first point you had to make. They're not that little.
They're not that little. And yes, when I became really comfortable in my own skin, and when I stopped caring what anybody else thought about it, was when I accepted and I acknowledged that I was one of them.
I've had a lot of that coming my way in the last few days too. People telling me they were not just human. And, I believe it. I absolutely believe it.
Yeah.
If we can communicate and do the things we do, delivering messages from people who passed away, and heal people by connecting simply with the earth and the universe and the energy that's around us.
Right.
Why the hell can't it be possible? Because if you think about it, if you talk to any mental health professional, right, who is going to be very honest with you, they're going to tell you everything we do, I think I'm going to use this word right, is subjective.
Yes,
right?
It is.
So we don't know enough about the human brain. And people are always like, oh, well, why do you always have to make everything about spirit and spiritual and ghosts and whatever? Well, why isn't it that? Why is it that we think it has to be physical all the time? Mm-hmm. We are mostly made up of the energy. Everything is energy, even the physical. This, my microphone, everything is energy. Yeah. So why couldn't it be reversed? Why? Yeah. Maybe that is the problem. Maybe we are looking at this the wrong way. And my daughter, who's the counselor now, is like, Mom. So we go. She has a healthier understanding using her gifts with her job now, but she doesn't like when I, because it's not exactly still accepted in the community. I'm like, have you told your teachers what I do yet? No. And she's not embarrassed in any way, but I can't blame her. We still have to watch what we do with our jobs and our careers. But it's just funny because there are more and more though counselors and therapists coming out, because I offer spiritual guidance sessions as well. And it's the same as a reading, only I don't just kind of give you all the messages. You come, we have more of a conversation. You let me know what you want to work on. I'm given the guidance to help you. And it's more periodic. They come every so often. It's a regular thing. I've had people come to me when traditional counseling does not work. And they're like, I don't know what else to do. So I'm hoping you can shed some light. I've had people come and then go back to therapy and then work with me as well, because we were able to make a breakthrough that helped them then work with a counselor who has tools I clearly don't have, because it's made very clear I'm not a doctor. I can't help you on that level, but I can help you in a different way. And so it's becoming more widely accepted as well. And with the mental health. So I think that's really important too, that we realize there's really more to this.
Yeah. And it would behoove the mental health industry, which is what it is, to tap into their own intuitive abilities.
They're all healers.
Right. They are. They were drawn to it for a reason. Unfortunately, they got sucked into, the element of it that makes it, the pencil pushers and the bureaucracy of it and
the human side of it.
Yeah, the human side of it, and that very judgy, if it doesn't fall into this category, then it is to just be dismissed and assumed that it's, fraudulent on its face.
And anybody who knows anything about people like us, Andrea, right? We don't fit into any category. There is no box for us. We always fit into, we always slip through those cracks in between all those neat little boxes that people have created, right? And we always go right in between the cracks every time without fail.
And I can understand your reluctance with the new vernacular that has emerged. I mean, when I was growing up at the farm, was in the 70s, and to talk about any of this was taboo. I almost got expelled, and I was a straight A goody two shoes student that almost got expelled for talking about this stuff in school and answering questions that came from my peer group, who then went home and relayed it to a parent who then called the school principal to complain about me.
Oh boy.
So I've been there. I've been down that really scary road of, wondering what my future could even look like if I continued to discuss this openly. And I just clammed up because I had to. And so, I can totally relate to, even though, I'm about 20 years older than you are, you kind of went through that same thing, that same period, and the whole aspect of self-awareness as it rises and feeling so very much a misfit, and wanting to be a people pleaser and not even realizing that in so doing, that we were healing those that we were coming in contact with on some level or another, that it was what we brought to the table that was precisely what they needed in their ascension process.
Right.
And I look back to, friendships that I founded 40, 50 years ago, and these people are all still in my life.
That's awesome.
Explain that these were connections that were never broken. And we all look back when we get together now, the several of us, and one became a minister. One became the president of an IT company, but is deeply spiritual and finds his grace in flower gardens. And is
beloved,
so kind and good and pure of heart. And we all gravitated together and lifted each other up through this long, hard, treacherous journey called life. And we were each other's cornerstones. What a remarkable thing.
I know.
What if we could all be each other's cornerstones all the time, so that everyone that we encounter, everyone that we embrace is permanently changed for the better by having that encounter. In fact, the last time we were together, we had this exact conversation as we were holding each other. Do you remember?
I do. Yeah. I do. Oh my gosh. It seems like forever ago already too. I can't believe it.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
We're not going to take each other for granted anymore. None of us are. It's not going to be see you at the next Paracon, see you at the next this. I mean, all of humanity has had to confront our mortality simultaneously over these last few years.
Yes.
And we're not done with this. This is just taken another offshoot. This is the paradigm shift. And when we get through, nothing, as we recall life prior, will be the same. It won't.
No.
And we're at a very dangerous time in the course of human evolution right now. And so it is, it's incumbent upon all of us, I think, to, as the show says, wake up. We are in the midst of a world that is awakening.
Yes.
That is happening. And we are at the height of serving our purpose right now. In fact, I wanted to tell you next week on April 11th, my friend Jeff Turner, who is a former evangelical preacher, who moved away from it out of sheer necessity. It didn't jive. It didn't make sense. It did not compute.
Okay.
And it really went deeply into a spiritual life that I envy. And he is going to co-host a program from 6 to 7 every Monday night that I've titled Soul School Sojourn, where every Monday night, anybody that just needs a recharge, needs just a shot in the arm, metaphorically speaking. I'm not saying it's a vaccine. So everybody chill out, okay? But we're going to launch Soul School Sojourn, and I'm going to begin it with a love letter to the world.
I love that.
Because if there was ever a time for us to really discover that our superpower is love.
Yeah.
When we relinquish all of our power to fear on such a regular basis, that our life is tainted by fear. We don't use it as a tool. We just give it our decision-making abilities and then, try to function in a basically dysfunctional realm that is so oppressive and so grief-laden that we have to look up to see bottom so much of the time. And we're going to try to be the antidote to that, the neurotoxin antidote that has caused so many of us to be completely overwhelmed. In fact, my friend Erin said to me today, oh God, I don't want to screw this up. I want to get this right. She said that we have to come to an understanding that, I don't want to screw this up. Oh, well, maybe she'll write it down for me and put it on the bottom of the page.
Help her out, girlie. Help her out.
That it is the realization. We were talking about the realization of oneness, of all energy being one thing. And that there are too many people that work in this field that are just completely dismissive of the idea that there is a perpetual conflict going on between negative and positive energy, good and evil, darkness and light. There's, this constant bashing, this,
and it's gotten worse lately.
Right. And it has gotten much worse. And so what we have to do is not only acknowledge the darkness, because it exists, as fear exists, but in its rightful usage is more of a tool, that tap on the shoulder of don't do that, don't go there, don't do this, don't, that visceral, instinctive part of us that, danger, Will Robinson, that's there and it serves its purpose.
Right.
But, we can vanquish fear with love. And that's what Soul School Sojourn is going to be about, because I've always believed that Earth, our 3D planetary realm that we're existing in right now, serves a purpose to teach us lessons that, and unfortunately, the test always precedes the lesson on this plane of action.
Yeah.
So it's not fair. There's nothing fair about life. Absolutely nothing fair about life. Mm-hmm. It can seemingly appear to be a crapshoot, that it just literally is random chaos. Mm-hmm. But you and I both know that that's not the truth of our existence.
No.
And so you're coming, I think you're coming, my darling Kristie, into an awareness of, and we'll talk about this. I mean, private girls, on the phone.
Oh,
but I think that you really are coming into awareness of who you are, where you come from, and why you're here. Mm-hmm. And if I hear one more spiritualist say, well, you chose to be here at this time, I will punch their lights out. I swear to God, there is no fucking way that I decided to come to this fucked up planet at this particular time to do whatever that I can do. Whoever expected me, I never signed off on anything about this. I'm absolutely certain that there was a clerical error made somewhere in the universe. I was definitely supposed to go someplace else. And now I'm here, and now I'm stuck, and now I can't leave, even of my own free will, because it will upset too many people. So I have no choice but to do what I have to do. But you know what? The next time I hear something, you chose to be here. Really? Show me the contract. Show it to me.
I'm sorry. You're going to make me Italian snort while I laugh. You got to knock it off.
Oh, by the way, you can use any, I have a degree in this language and I abuse it regularly on my show. So, feel free.
Well, I have to say one thing, if I can say it seriously. I don't even know if I can do that, but
it's so
I think the other thing.
Florida. Hold on, I got to put my. I had to put my fan on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you're gonna make me get a hot flash.
I have one every 15 minutes, whether I need it or not. Another 3D thing I could live without.
I used to say that being an empath is menopause has got nothing on being an empath, right? And now that I'm going, oh, maybe I was wrong.
You was wrong about that, okay? Yeah.
So, but in all seriousness, who am I kidding?
Yeah, right.
But in all seriousness, I want to say that I think too, one big thing that the world is definitely lacking besides love is compassion.
Yeah.
We have truly forgotten that we are not here for ourselves. We're here for all of us.
Right.
And that was the one big message that I knew I had to help to support and to teach when it came to the whole idea of COVID. Like, I talked to different friends of mine who are gifted and, some are about the planet and some are about, other things. My message in particular, when it came to COVID, especially, was about the fact that we needed to pay attention to the fact that we are way too about ourselves anymore in this lifetime. It's always about me, my personal civil liberties, my personal opinions, my feelings. I'm offended. I'm not offended. My opinion is this, so everything has to change. No. Hold the friggin' phone.
Yep.
We need to remember that we are supposed to be here for each other, not just ourselves.
We are all in this together.
Right. And showing compassion is one way you do that. So I think that your show also shows compassion. And I think that that's going to promote the idea that we all need to be in this together. I have a friend who, and for the longest time, used to piss me off when he said this, but I totally get it now. We have too many freedoms in this country.
Yeah.
And, not for anything. And I am a veteran's wife. Let me tell you, when the day comes that one person can say to all of us something is wrong and that everybody else needs to change because of it, that is not okay.
It's not okay.
Everyone's feelings have to be taken in consideration. I'm very simple. I agree that you should be able to be your way just as much as I should be able to be my way. So I'm okay with you doing what you're going to do and believing what you're going to believe. So please don't tell me now I have to change though, because you don't like it. Right. So, or even just always worrying about having our own, or people, who's going to get on the next TV show. Or I'm like, dude, there's enough dead people to go around. There are enough messed up people in this world, myself included, who could use all the help we can get. So we need to stop being competitive, and we need to start working together on every single level. It's really tiring. So I totally agree with you. And, you know, we have to just remember we're about society. We are about community. We are about family. We are not just about us as individuals.
Well, you know what? That's one of the things that's a bitter irony of COVID, was that we all had to come to the sudden realization that the way to, you know, well before vaccines had surfaced, you know, well before, when we did not know where this was going to go and how bad this was going to be. And we had to, as the social creatures that we are, had to come to the realization that the very best way to show someone how much you love them was to stay the hell away from them. And, you know, that was a bitter lesson, a bitter irony in this, you know. And now when we get together, Kristie, and we wrap our arms around each other, we don't take each other for granted anymore. We don't.
Because I'm a hugger. You know?
I'm a hugger.
It's hard for me when people are like, I'm not a hugger. I'm like, okay.
I mean, I didn't go out for a year and a half until I was all vaxxed up and ready to go, and had, by the skin of my teeth, survived COVID, you know, before there were vaccines available. And it was a real wake-up call for myself and others. I mean, how can you claim to be all about your family and all about your loved ones and your circle of friends, and then not do everything in your power to make sure that just by being with them, you don't inadvertently kill them when you don't have a symptom at all? I mean, it's a very sneaky, insidious virus.
It is. And
we've all had to, you know, learn as we've gone and follow the science of it. And I have found my compassion challenged. I've gotten to the point where I don't care. I really have. And that's upsetting to me, because I really do care. I really do love human beings, and I really want us to, you know, to see all of us get through this together. And
but you have to disconnect sometimes, right? You have to. It's not that you don't care. It's that you have to shut off. Have you talked to anybody else, especially empaths such as us, who, because in my experience, and I hated to admit this about myself, as personable as I am and as much as I really love to be around other people, and actually I was okay being home and turning off.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah, yes.
Oh my gosh,
God, yes.
It gave me a break I didn't realize I needed.
Yes.
Like, even, you know, and it was crazy. Even my sister, who's not, you know, she's not like me, is in the way of being connected with her gifts, but she has 4 kids and they run constantly. And I was like, how you doing? She goes, honestly, I'm loving this. I could live my whole life like this. And it's true, because she's not. We're very opposite in that way. And it's just funny, because I was like, wow, me too, actually. Like, you know, I thought it was going to be hard for me, and it really wasn't. And it was like, wow, I felt like every fiber of my being got a break. I was able to breathe, you know, and not that I don't love it, but you everyone needs a break. Right. So, you know,
well, you know, it was, I was delighted to be able to come off the road with good reason. And it's not that I don't absolutely adore seeing
Right.
my folks, you know, when I go out to
Of
these
course.
different events around the country.
Right.
But we always had this, you know, we had a way to, we could, you know, Zoom each other. We could
Yes.
talk on the phone. We could do the Facebook chat thing. We could, you know, there were so many ways. I said the grace is that the what my friend calls the interwebs did not crash when
Right.
everybody had to use that as their form of communication. And it was I think it was by necessity that for myself, and I'm so reclusive anyway, I'm perfectly happy being alone for, you know, just being alone. I'm perfectly comfortable in my own skin about that. And I don't feel that I need to be in any way a social butterfly. But when I do go out into the world, I throw myself into what I do and expend an enormous amount of energy. And then when I come home, I quietly crash and you know, recover, recuperate,
yes,
and, you know, re-energize and then recharge. And that was a period of time. Did you notice, Kristie, how many people started having sightings? How many people started disclosing that they had seen some kind of ghostly apparition or had some spiritual activity in their homes?
No.
And are wondering,
really,
you know, is it because I've just never spent enough time here?
Yeah.
You know, am I seeing things in the sky because I never bothered to look up before and now I am? You know, what is that? And all of it is part of the paradigm shift. You know, all of the geopolitical upheaval on the planet, you know, not only in this country, but across, you know, Ukraine and Afghanistan and Africa and Yemen and Syria and on and on and on. All of this is happening for a reason.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to acknowledge it. We're supposed to observe it and acknowledge it. But those among us who have an ability to nurture that, you know, sympathy and empathy is bringing us to an entirely different level of global awareness and consciousness. And we are in the fight of our lives. This is the ultimate battle between good and evil and darkness and light. And we're living in it. And we better get our act together and emphasis on the word together.
Yes,
to
I agree.
Confront this.
You're absolutely right. And one thing I have noticed is during this shift personally, on the personal level that I'm going through, I have noticed even environmentally, I keep my home pretty much on lockdown. Like this is not a revolving door for spirit. When I'm home, like when I'm working, I'm working. When I'm home, I'm home. I don't want to have to worry about waking up in the middle of the night and seeing somebody standing at the end of my bed. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
If someone needs me, or again, if I'm called upon, okay, fine. That's a different story. But, you know, some people are okay with that. I am not. So, you know, I have noticed you know, not that my house can't be active or, you know, different times, especially when the veil is thin and, you know, if something's going on, you may feel it picking up, but it's different. Feel the energy pick up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Rather than really having things go on and spirit be around. So I was sitting on my couch the other day and I was just watching TV and all of a sudden I look across to my laundry room and some dude comes walking out of my laundry room. I'm like, what the hell are you doing in my house? Are you kidding me right now? This does not happen here. So he just kind of stood there and looked at me. And I was like, dude, you got to go. That's simple. You got to go. So he just shrugged and walked out my front door, you know? So things are starting to happen in different ways, even though I protect and I am conscious of, you know, personal protection as well. We are protected. We take care of ourselves on that level. However, things can still happen,
Yes, things can
and then
and
especially
will and do.
exactly. And so like we really have to protect ourselves personally, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. But then collectively, I've also been for a couple of months now, I have a student group and they have had their own experiences that have not happened to students of mine in the past.
Mhm.
And it's either happening to them in twos or in smaller groups. And I even had an issue when I was away recently, about a month ago, doing a show. It was in Pennsylvania. And I woke up and I remember it was like, was conscious, not conscious, but I remember very clearly something getting onto my bed and crawling up onto my bed, like over up on top of me, like I was going to be attacked. And just a couple nights before, two of the girls in my group were in the chat saying, "Oh my God, this happened to me last night." And then they found out that it happened to the other. And we were all like, okay. So I'm noticing like we had to really, so not long after that, I called a virtual group meeting because there are strength in numbers. We had to raise our vibration as a group. And part of it's probably because I've added so many new people lately that we're not connected with, as a whole. So we have to be really conscious of really raising our vibration and coming together on many different levels, because there's so much going on. And the more we do to help other people, the more they're going to come after us, the things that don't want us to be successful, right? And they're going to attack the ones that don't know. So it's really important, that we are mindful of these things, because things we're used to, we have to step up our game and they're not working anymore.
Yes. Yep. I absolutely agree. But you are a part of my circle of feminine energy, what I call goddess energy. Is we are the rise of the sacred feminine energy in this field. The ones that I happen to have a little bit of notoriety that frees me to have a platform like this where I can say, sister, come on in. Oh, and you, come on.
Yeah.
And what we do and how many people all over the world are listening to this tonight and feeling, if not uplifted, perhaps even a little relieved that they don't feel so alone and isolated, that we've got this place, this cushy place in cyberspace where we can come together. That is healing in its own right, because yes, words can be used as weapons. Words declare wars, but words can also elevate us in ways that are deeply spiritual and truly inspiring. And
absolutely.
So, as long as we do that, my darling, as long as we just reach out and lift each other up. I mean, I literally feel like I'm hugging you right now. Like our 20 and 30 and 40 and 50-second hugs where you already know at what point it becomes therapeutic and you just want more and more of that.
Or weird or awkward, depending on the moment. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Andrea gives the best hugs, you guys.
I do.
The very first second I met her, she's like, "Oh my God." And before I knew it, I was getting smothered in kisses and she's like got me all wrapped up. It was so cool. Yes.
I knew amazing. You. I knew your soul. The first time we met, I knew your soul.
Oh,
you are radiant. You are so beautiful, but your beauty radiates from within out. It's your core, your essential self is literally like poetry in motion to me, Kristie. I've enjoyed every moment I have spent in your company over the years. When we were apart and couldn't do events, I missed you. You're just such a lovely, lovely soul. If everybody could be like you, I mean.
Me too. Right back at you, lady. It takes one to know one.
But we do have a job to do, and I hate to be the bearer of maybe slightly uncomfortable news, but you are from a different planet that you know, you're
That could just, I could take that in so many different ways, or I could relate to that in so many different ways.
well, and the reason I know it is because we're from the same place.
Really?
Yes,
Do
our
tell.
eyes are almost identical.
Really?
And yes, and yes.
Okay.
And I knew the first time I met you, I was like, I know her. I know her. I've known her forever.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that. Oh, and I have to tell you before I forget, when I told my son who you were and what I was doing, he's like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." He was so excited. Sorry, I had to tell you that.
That's okay. That's okay. You give him a big hug and a kiss for me. Tell him to come to the next event that we do together, and I'll take care of that for him.
Wow.
And I'll introduce him to the Galactic family.
Very cool.
Not for nothing, but it's, and I've been really aggravated with them because I love them so much, and my connection with them is such a profound one that I'm getting like, okay, now is the time. This is the time that we would need for you to intervene, to help us intervene, step up. This is the time. Right. The time is now. If there was ever a time, I don't care if they just come dismantle nukes. I'm perfectly good with that.
Right. Right.
But, and then every time that happens, well, for instance, on the morning of February 24th, before the bombs started dropping later in the day, I got a very distinct message, a very precise message. And it was verbatim this. I was sitting out on the terrace of my house here and just drinking coffee, smoking a cigarette, just chilling. And it came right through first thing in the morning, like 7:00 in the morning. If we are here, this planet and its people are in crisis. We are here.
Wow.
That was the whole message.
That's pretty heavy.
And yes, they are here. But we have to, we're like each one of us is like the tip of, like the tip of the tentacles of 1,000 octopuses. We're all octopi. Did I say that wrong?
I think so.
Is it octopi?
No, I think you said it right. I think you said it right.
Did I? Okay.
I think so.
Because I love pie. I mean, I really love pie.
I do too.
I love blueberry pie.
Oh, well, if it's going to be pie, then we can definitely go off on a tangent about pie.
Hey, I have a degree in this language. I can abuse it all I want.
Absolutely. I agree. I'm going to back you on that 100%.
But, like we're all what I refer to as the beacons. We have to be the beacons. We have to be the light we seek. Absolutely. We can't find it outside of ourselves. We have to be it.
We are it.
Yes, we are it because we are it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the stronger, and, again, though, on the flip side of that, it's important to remember the brighter we shine, the more vulnerable we become. And I say that loosely, but you know what I mean? We're not vulnerable. We learn to take care of ourselves, but that's why it's a never ending battle in a way, and I think that's why some people shy away and are afraid of it, but they can't be afraid of it because the fear goes away with confidence and with self-acceptance.
Well, and I have found that for me and what I've shared with many others is the best way to overpower fear is to embrace it and love it and thank it for every time it saved us from ourselves and making a stupid decision that could harm us in some way. Yeah. So it does serve a purpose. It wouldn't exist otherwise. But we've imbued it with certain unalienable rights that it doesn't really have. Yeah. And, have acquiesced to it. And in that process, we've also, in fear, become self-isolating.
Mhm.
We don't have that same level of empathy or sympathy or compassion for each other that perhaps we once did.
Right.
And maybe we never did. Maybe this is the time for us to learn that these are elements, intrinsic elements of our character and our personality, that they are a part of us. And that
Yeah.
if we do not share the best of ourselves, then we will become the worst of ourselves.
Mhm. I agree. Excuse me. I agree. When I work with people, one of the biggest lessons I learned was that I finally just had to embrace who I was and accept that I am who I am. Like you said, it doesn't matter. I had to get comfortable in my own skin with that. And it didn't matter who liked it or agreed with it. It didn't matter.
Right. Exactly.
And when you embrace, gifted or not, you need to accept yourself for who you are and what you can do and what you can't do from the inside out. And then after that, you have to learn to be confident in that, in who you are. And that's the foundation that I hope people build, because it was one of the most important lessons I learned on my own. And go figure, for as big as my family is, nobody came out and admitted they were gifted or said anything about it until I decided to go public with it. I was like, what? What are you talking about? What? And then looking back, I could say, okay, that kind of makes sense now. All right, maybe, And then I'm like, where the hell were you people for 30 years while I was struggling this whole time?
Oh,
But,
yeah,
you
Kristie,
can't blame
that's
each
cool.
other.
And left you hanging for decades. I know.
Like, what? But you know what? Everyone's on their own journey, and that's okay. My life seems to be doing things the hard way, taking the hard road, but that's how I learn. That's the only way I learn. So, I work better being thrown into the fire. Not like it's my first choice, but it seems to be the one that works. So,
yeah, but life is a trial by fire.
It is.
And we are the residual smoke and embers that just simply are shed by it. The most beautiful part of the fire is what it expels as it is disappearing, as it literally burns itself out. Each one of us is a phoenix. We are.
I love
we
that.
just need to acknowledge that and embrace the fear. Once you embrace your fear, it's absolutely powerless over you. Once you love it too, it ain't got nothing left.
And that's one thing that I do too with people. You have to say things out loud. So when I tell them you have to address spirit, okay, well, can I do it in my head? Can you technically? Yep. Am I going to let you? Nope. What do you mean?
Speak it.
I mean, you have to speak it. You have to own it.
Use your own voice.
You got it. Because when we don't do that, it does. When we speak out loud, we have to own it because it makes it real.
Yes.
It's like cash and credit. You can flick a card at somebody all day long and lose track of the reality of what you're actually getting yourself into, right? And spending that money. Just like you're saying something in your head, you're not really grasping it. You give that cash away, it's gone. The reality is there. You say something out loud, boom, that solidifies the fact that it's real. So you have to own this, because that's where the power comes, to put the power behind it that you need to own it. That's where your intention is. And then eventually, when you're strong enough and confident enough and you've come into your own, you'll have that strength and that intention. So you don't have to always say something out loud, but you still should sometimes, depending on the situation. But I definitely am all for that. And I absolutely teach people that way for that reason. We have to speak it. We have to own it. And we can't let the fear, because people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, exactly. That's why you have to do it. That's why you have to say it out loud.
Well, I think one of the most interesting things about human beings is that we cage ourselves, and that we are all in possession of the key, and all we have to do is just go through and then turn it around and It's like today we had some interesting
Mm-hmm.
talks on the way home from Georgia today to Florida. And I was saying, life is the Wizard of Oz. And Erin laughs. She's like, oh God, what's she coming out with now? I said, no, life is like the Wizard of Oz. And you get to the end of the story. And Glenda the Good Witch says to Dorothy, you had the power all along. You could have gone home all along. You just didn't know it.
Yeah.
I mean, what a
Mm-hmm.
prophetic tale, what a moral lesson to, for each one of us to learn as we not absolve ourselves of whatever we've done that has made our lives more difficult in our life, but to forgive ourselves and to love ourselves in a way that perhaps we have not before, because it felt egocentric, and it's the opposite.
It really is.
It
really is. Mm-hmm.
How can you truly love another soul if you have no tolerance for your own?
Right. And yet, but again, those are the things we're taught, right? If we are proud of something we do and it's too much, or if we are happy or excited, or we talk about something we're capable of, that's boasting, that's prideful, that's egotistical. And that's such a delicate balance with ego as it is for us to keep. It is not wrong. It is not, to be able to say, I can do this, and be proud of it. We should be proud of it.
Yes.
It's a major accomplishment.
Yes, it is. And we're not doing it for ourselves. I take people out and introduce them all over the country, to the galactic family. There are others that I know that work in this field that are monetizing that to the nth degree. Mm-hmm. I've never charged anybody a dime to do that. For me, it is my gift to give to them as it was given to me. And I'm just passing that on along. And I will never, I have my books to sell, I have my stuff, my writing that I spent all, and I'm not ashamed to sell my books. I'd give them all away if I could, but unfortunately they cost money. So I have to sell them. But, that's my story. But who I am, what I bring, what you bring, that exchange of energy, that luminescent part of each one of us that enlightens the others that cross our path, that's the gift. It's truly a gift given to us that we in kind impart to others, share with others. And it is that's the core. That's the core of your beauty.
Thank you.
It is. Well, Bill's telling us we only have 5 minutes left, and I don't know where 2 hours went. I do not know where 2 hours went.
I know, this is crazy.
Oh God. and we shall gather together again, my darling.
Yes.
But before I wish our viewers well around the world. God bless the world. Say your prayers for the world tonight, folks. I want you to just take a moment to let people know how they can contact you directly, how they can, book some time with you or have a reading or whatever. I don't want to leave them hanging. I want you to give them all your best stuff right now.
All right. So here it is. So I do have a website, and you can go to my website. It's blueeyedempath.com. There it is. Thank you, Bill. And you can also find me on Facebook at Kristie London, Medium and Reiki Master. I have a business page, and then I also have a public page, which is my name, and it says public page in parentheses. But I'm also the co-host of Where's My Sage, which is an online video and podcast live show. So you can also find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook with that as well. And my phone number and all of my information is listed there. if you are interested in a reading, or if you need help with investigations or anything like that, you can just simply call. Calling me is always the easiest, but you can email me at faithloveandlight@gmail.com, or go to the website as well. But just call me. It's easier just to call me. I like to talk to people anyway. So it's all good. Yeah.
Well, I want you to know that I'm not the only one that you lifted up tonight.
Oh.
And I thank you from my heart for joining me on A World Awakening tonight, because this is, we have a purpose to serve, and this was a really great place to gather tonight for many, many people. And we've got like 8 different chat rooms going on. It depends on, like where this
awesome.
is, because it's out in syndication. But, do go and look at live streams on Facebook. So go after the show and look at some of the comments and stuff. And also
cool.
it simulcasts on YouTube. So, there's plenty of ways for people to reach out to you there as well.
Absolutely.
And hang on, because we're going to close the show out, but stay put so I can talk to you after we're done. Okay.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here with you today. Really.
Oh no, it's my
I love you, my
privilege,
friend,
sweetheart. Thank you. I just love you dearly.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
So
I appreciate it.
So, folks, thank you for joining us tonight on A World Awakening. I deeply appreciate your presence here with us. And remember the message that was imparted to me 6 weeks ago. This planet and its people are in crisis. We are here. We are here to help. We, capital We, are here to help. And so, as I suggest every week, have faith, dare to have hope, and always, always be the light you seek. I love you all. Good night.